speak with the tongues of men and angels, but have not love, I have become a sounding brass and a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand the mysteries and all the knowledge and though I have all faith, so that I could move mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profits me nothing. Love suffers long and is kind, does not envy, does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own. It's not provoked and thinks no evil. Does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth. Bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. But whether there is prophecies, they will fail. Whether there is tongues, they will cease. And whether there is knowledge, it will be vanished away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But that which is perfect has come. Then that which is in part will be done away with. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man or woman, I put away childish things. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know as I am known. And now abides faith, hope, and love. That these three, but the greatest of is love.
So this last week we had Valentine's Day on Friday. And a lot of people talk about love. And the question is, what is love? Well, we're going to look at that today. A group of professional people posed this question to a group of 4 to 8-year-olds. What does love mean? The answers that they got were broader and deeper than anyone could have imagined. What do you think? When my grandmother got arthritis, she couldn't bend over and paint her toenails anymore. So my grandfather does it for her all the time, even when his hands got arthritis too. That's love. Rebecca, age 8. When someone loves you, the way that they say your name is different. You just know that your name is safe in their mouth. Billy, age 4. Love is what makes you smile when you're tired. Terry, age 4. Love is when my mommy makes coffee for my daddy, and she takes a sip before giving it to him just to make sure that it's okay. Annie, age 7. Love is when you kiss all the time, and then when you get tired of kissing, you still want to be together and you talk more. Mommy and Daddy are like that. They look gross when they kiss. Emily, age 8. Love is what is in the room with you at Christmas if you stop opening presents and listen. Bobby, age 7. If you want to learn to love better, you should start with a friend that you hate. Nika, age 6. Love is when you tell a guy that you like his shirt and he wears it every day. Wow, age 7. Love is when a girl puts on perfume and a boy puts on shaving cologne and they go out and smell each other. Carl, age 5. I presume he has an older sister or a brother. Love is like a little old woman and a little old man who are still friends even after they know each other so well. Tommy, age 6. During my piano recital, I was on stage and I was scared. I looked at all the people watching me and saw my daddy waving and smiling. He was the only one doing that. I wasn't scared anymore. Cindy, age 8. Love is when mommy gives daddy the best piece of chicken. Elaine, age 5. Love is when mommy tells daddy, sees daddy smelling and sweaty and still says he is handsomer than Robert Redford. Chris, age 7. My mommy loves me more than anybody. You don't see anyone else kiss me to sleep at night. Claire, age 6. Love is when your puppy licks your face even after you left him alone all day. Marianne, age 4. I know my older sister loves me because she gives me all her old clothes and has to go out and buy new ones. Lauren, age 4. When you love somebody, your eyelashes go up and down and little stars come out of you. Karen, age 7. Love is when mommy sees daddy in the toilet and she doesn't think it's gross. Mark, age 6. You shouldn't say I love you unless you mean it, but if you mean it, you should say it a lot. People forget. Jessica, age 8. And last one here. An author and lecturer, Leo Biscaglia, whatever. Once talked about a contest he was asked to judge. The purpose of the contest was to find the most caring child. The winner was a 4-year-old child whose next door neighbor was an elderly gentleman who had recently lost his wife. On seeing the man cry, the little boy went into the old gentleman's yard, climbed into his lap, and just sat there. When his mother asked him what he had said to the neighbor, the little boy said, "Nothing. I just helped him cry." And there's a lot of stuff in there. And growing up, I remember hearing or seeing a comic strip. It was called Love Is. How many people remember that? It, I think, was a New Zealand lady. It started in the 60s, and there's hundreds of these little cartoons. There, can you put it up? Love is what costs nothing but is worth everything. What's interesting is in these cartoons, there's a lot of nice sayings, and then it gets pretty practical. Love is holding on to what matters most, each other. I was thinking of Alan and Elizabeth on this one. Love is 2 people in perfect balance, riding a bicycle.
Hey, she said that to Elizabeth and Alan, the hot bikes, or dual bike that they ride.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking of them.
Love is your shield and protector. Love is trying not to wake her when you have to rise early. Love is leaving him a kiss when you've gone to work. Love is when he does things without having to be asked. Love is patching things up. Love is having eyes only for each other. Love is saying a prayer for each other every night. And if you go online here, he said there's hundreds of them. And some are describing love, and others are just, I guess, actions. You know, love is a verb. You can sometimes get, don't want to say over romantic about it, but it's sometimes we get kind of gushy about it. But love is not just a feeling. It's more than a feeling. It is action. It is deciding to do something. There is feelings, of course, involved too. question is, what does Scripture have to say about love? And that's what we're going to look at today. So what is the greatest commandment? Matthew 22. Let's turn to there.
On my son Matthew's 22nd birthday, this is the scripture that a friend gave to me to share with him.
Matthew 22, verse 36 to 40. Wendy, why don't I get you to read that?
Okay. 32.
Matthew 22, 36.
36 to 40.
22.
Verse 36.
I'm getting there. 36. Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus said to him, love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. How far did you want me to go?
40.
Okay. And the second is like to it. Love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang the law and the prophets.
So what Jesus is saying here is that all the Old Testament commandments and the all the prophetic words telling people what to do, it boils down to two basic things: loving God and loving your neighbor. Actually, it's three things, because in there it's that you're loving your neighbor as you love yourself. There is a proper place of loving yourself. You should not hate yourself. But there is also the extreme of loving yourself too much. But there is love God, love your neighbor, and you do love yourself. And take care of yourself. One of the things that I think about is in my relationship with Dara, there is the commandment, don't commit adultery, right? But why would I want to commit adultery when that will wreck my relationship with Dara? Out of love, I will obey that commandment. And the heart the heart purpose is a little different. Instead of just an external, don't do something, my heart of love for her wants me to fulfill that commandment. And there's a lot of things in the Old Testament that are kind of the rules of what we're supposed to do that is external. And God wants to move in our hearts and soften our hearts, and the Holy Spirit moves in. And from our heart of love, we will not do things. Does that make sense?
Amen. Yes.
That's why Jesus could say the greatest two commandments are love God, love your neighbor. And we will do all the other things that we're supposed to do. Now, often at a wedding, we read 1 Corinthians 13. In 1 Corinthians 13, talks about love. I find it actually interesting that in chapter 12 and chapter 14, Paul is writing to the Corinthians about spiritual gifts. The background for Corinth, it was a chief city in Greece, a trade and commerce center. There's about 250,000 free people and 400,000 slaves. There were about 12 temples, including one to Aphrodite, the goddess of love. And there was up to 1,000 temple prostitutes who was known for its sexual immorality. Now the Corinthian church itself was spiritually gifted, but immature. It had morality issues, divisions, and doctrinal error. That's why Paul wrote such a long, actually 2 letters to them. Once again, in chapter 12, Paul's writing to them to test spiritual gifts, the unity of the gifts, diversity of the gifts. And then chapter 13 comes along and he starts talking about love. And then in chapter 14 he goes back to talking about spiritual gifts. But I think why he inserted a chapter about love is because you can have gifts, but if you don't do it in love, it can actually be very destructive. Well, let's turn to chapter 13. Verse 1 and 3. If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I'm only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and surrender my body to the flames, but have not love, I gain nothing. In the absence of love, good things still are they're nothing. What Paul's listing here is good stuff. You can speak in tongues. I have the gift of prophecy. I have faith. I gave all my possessions to the poor. These are all good things. But the heart needs to be out of love for them to be properly used. If I have not love, I gain nothing. In verse 4 to 8, Paul writes and talks about what love is. I can be worried and they are cartoons, right? Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. That's a pretty good description of what love is supposed to be. And the last part of the chapter then talks about things will disappear, but love will keep on going. If there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when perfection comes, the imperfect disappears. What's that perfection? I think when Jesus comes again. When I was like a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put childish ways behind me. Now we see but a poor reflection in a mirror, and we shall see face to face. We will see Jesus face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know fully, even as I am now. I am fully known. Now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Love will endure. Long after the gifts are not needed, love will still be the governing principle that controls all that God and we as people are and do. Love is what makes spiritual gifts effective. Love is to be the motivator behind everything we do. When we look at the middle section, what I'd like to do is put us in the equation here. Like, I do believe God is going to be moving in power. It's this year or another year, I'm not sure, but I believe He's going to be doing stuff. We will see healings, we will see salvations, we will see the power of God come. But we need God's love in order for that to really take effect. And so my prayer is that, yes, we grow in spiritual gifts, that we grow in our relationship with God. But I also want us to grow in our love for God and for each other. So we're reading chapter 13, verse 4. Let me change it just a little bit. King of Kings is patient. King of Kings is kind. Does not envy, does not boast, is not proud, is not rude. King of Kings is not self-seeking. King of Kings is not easily angered. We keep no record of wrongs. King of Kings does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. King of Kings always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. King of Kings never fails.
Amen.
And then let's make it a little bit more personal. Rick is patient. Rick is kind. Rick does not envy. Rick does not boast. Rick is not proud. Rick is not rude. Rick is not self-seeking. Rick is not easily angered. Rick keeps no record of wrongs. Randy does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Esther always protects, always trusts. Randy always hopes, always perseveres. Michael never fails. You can put your name in that equation too. But these are the things that I hope that we will grow into. Because we need the heart of love, of God's love, flowing in us and through us, that will make everything else make sense and be worthwhile.